Friends, this is Dr. Rohit from Rohit Productions. Hope you all are doing great. Well, thank you for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking more about mutual funds. We're talking about the mutual fund distribution, who can invest in the mutual fund, the investor's perspective, what are the investment opportunities for a person, and further we'll be talking about how to calculate their fund performance. So, before starting with, let's have something which is called as an investor perspective. Well, I'm an investor, and what should be my perspective, and how should I look at a mutual fund and a perspective about an idea about whether should I invest in a mutual fund or which industry should I invest in? Should I invest in gold? Should I invest in say real estate, or should I invest in a mutual fund, which is low risk thing, which is a high risk thing, and which is a short term thing, which is a long term thing. So as an investor, I have money, I'm going to invest. So where should I invest it? So talking about this investor perspective, what we have is equity, FI bonds, corporate debentures where we can invest, company, FDI, and then bank deposits. Then we have LIC, insurance. Then we have gold, real estate, and mutual funds. So, what are the sources of income? Income sources can be FI bonds, corporate debentures, company FDs, bank deposits, PPFs, and these can be an income source. Equity is a capital appreciation, capital increases. Then for this, risk is risk cover. LIC is a risk cover, it's not an income source. Then further we talk about gold. Gold inflation hedges. Gold depends on the inflation hedges. Then when we are talking about gold, after that we come to real estate. It is capital growth. And then further when we talk about mutual funds, they are capital growth. So both of this, real estate and mutual funds, are capital growth. So next we move on with the risk tolerance. Very high risk tolerance things comes under equity. Mutual funds can be a high risk, medium risk, or a low risk. It depends. Low risk tolerance can be provident fund, bank deposits, life insurance, and then company FDs. High and moderate risk would be associated with company debentures and company FDIs. By investment, we are talking about, let's say, long term. For long, medium, and short, mutual funds are the best. For risk, high or medium or low risk, mutual funds are the best. So now let's talk about medium, long term, and long term. We have real estate. For long term, we have life insurance investment. For long term, we have PPF. For short and medium terms, we have bank deposits. For medium term, we have company FDIs. For medium and long term, we have capital debentures. For medium and long term, we have FI bonds. And for long term, we have equities. So this is all about investment horizon, whether it's a long term investment or a short term investment. This was about the risk factor, and this is about the income factor. So this is an investor's perspective. Where should I invest for? If you're looking for long term, if you're looking for short term, are you looking for low risk or are you looking for high risk, where you can lose money but you can either gain money, which is a very big thing, or whether you're looking for calculated income, or whether you're looking for insurance cover. So this all depends on what is your investor's perspective. Further, let's talk about where we have the same board here right now. So let's talk about measuring and evaluating fund performance. So we're talking about how to measure a fund performance. Let's talk about those things. NAV. NAV is a very frequently term used, which is called as net assets upon number of units outstanding. So net assets upon number of units outstanding. So which is the value of investment plus other assets plus actual income minus current liabilities minus actual expenses. So this is what NAV stands for. So when you are calculating, first method when we are calculating about things, let's talk about absolute return method. Change in NAV or absolute return method. When we are talking about that thing, this is calculated as NAV at the end of the period minus NAV at the beginning of the period, into 100 divided by NAV at the beginning of the period. So absolute return method is at the end of the period minus at the beginning of the period divided upon at the beginning of the period into 100. Second thing is simple total return method. You're talking about simple total return method. This says this is distributed or added to change in NAV to compute the total return. So change in NAV into distribution upon NAV at the beginning of period into 100. Next thing we need to know about is return on investment or total return with dividend. So this can be calculated by reinvested method. Dividend as to calculated or invested purchased more units. So this is NAV at the end into units at end, NAV at beginning minus NAV at beginning into units at beginning into 100 divided by NAV at the beginning into units at the beginning. So NAV at the end into units at the end minus NAV at the beginning into units at the beginning into 100 divided by NAV at beginning into units at the beginning. So this is what is the method which is called reinvestment method or reinvestment method. So these are various methods which can help us in understanding about the fund performance, and the other chart which shows about the investor's perspective. So it depends on the amount of risk you are willing to take. It depends upon the amount of short term or amount of time, that is short term or long term investment, and further it depends on how you are going to take the income. It's how you're going to take the capital investment, whether looking for income or looking for insurance cover or looking for capital hedge or looking for capital appreciation, whether money will go on increasing. So that depends on your perspective. Further, let's talk about who can invest in a mutual fund. Residents including partnership firms, resident individuals, insurance companies, financial institutions, provident funds, Indian companies, Indian banks, NBFs and mutual funds. Non-residents, NRIs and persons of Indian origin, foreign entities, FIIs, registered with SCBIs, and foreign citizens and entities cannot invest in mutual funds. It's a very important point to note that foreign citizens and entities cannot invest in mutual funds. Further distribution channels, you have distribution companies giving to a person. These products can be distributed by individual distributors as well as by large distribution companies. So individual distributors will have a lot of administrative burden, and it will be dealing with individuals and will be more time consuming and will save. Thus to save on cost, we can give it to a distribution company. The next thing is norms for distributors is upfront commission, which is paid for self for getting the investment, and tail commission is paid for retention of investors in the fund. Distributors' obligations, there are no mandatory guidelines for mutual fund distributors' role and services to investors. Distributors need to comply with the codes of ethics titled AMFI guidelines and norms for intermediaries, as well as code of conduct by the AMC they are registered with. So let's further talk about more things. Let's talk about further we'll move on with the next point, which is the investor services and investment management. So let's talk about investor services. Investment plans, distributors, plans, options and services. So the term investment plan generally refers to the portfolio flexibility that the fund provides to the investors, offering different ways to invest or reinvest. Automatic reinvestment plans, ARP to reinvest the amount of dividends or the distributions made by the fund in the same fund. So you invest the amount which you have earned into the same fund. Systematic investment plans is investor fixed sum periodically through direct debit periods to the investor's bank account. So you invest some fixed amount, maybe the first week of the month or second week of the month, as per the systematic investment plan which you have taken, and then you invest the amount periodically through the direct debit or PDs to the investor's bank account. Then systemic withdrawal plan allows the investors to make systemic withdrawal from his fund investment account on periodic basis. So on a periodic basis, you are allowed to make systemic withdrawals. Then systemic transfer plans allows the investors to transfer on periodic basis a specific amount from one scheme to another within the same fund facility, meaning without two schemes managed by the same AMC and belonging to the same mutual fund. So if I have a plan for two schemes which is being managed by the same asset management company and belonging to the same mutual fund, so I can transfer, which allows the investor to transfer on a periodic basis. So on a periodic basis, I can, say 3 months, 6 months, or whatever the time period, a specific amount from one scheme. So I can, after 3 months, I can transfer from my one scheme to another of the same mutual fund which has been managed by the same asset management company. So this is what says systemic transfer plans. Next is other investor services, is telephonic, internet transmissions, check writing, periodic settlement information, and loan against units. So when you're talking of loan against units, we have several banks lent to the investors against mutual funds to units held by them. The amount of loan is usually percentage of value of investors holding in units. Telephone or internet transactions is investors may redeem or purchase units by calling the fund representative or registrar or investor service center. Many distribution companies, bank and brokers accept investors' instructions by telephone or through internet email. Check writing, some open and mutual funds allow the facility of checks writing by providing the investor with a checkbook, treating his fund account as equivalent of a bank savings account for this purpose. The fund must have RBI approval in order to offer the service. RBI rules do not permit investors to issue checks to third parties for other payments. So when we have some open and mutual funds allow the facility of check writing by providing the investor with a checkbook, and this fund account will be treated as a bank savings account. So the fund must have been RBI approval in order to offer the service. Then periodic settlements and tax information. All mutual funds provide periodic settlements to investors in the form of financial statements and performance reports. SCBI regulation funds to send annual financial statements to unit holders within 6 months of the closing of accounting year. So regulation says that send annual financial statements to unit holders within 6 months of the closing of accounting years. So this is about periodic settlement and tax information. So let's now move on with the next point, where we'll be talking about investment management. What is a mid cap? Large cap is greater than 5,000 crore. Mid cap is 1,000 crore but less than 5,000 crore, and small cap is small cap is less than 1,000 crore. So indicative figure. So next we move on with the investment management. Investment or portfolio management is a specialist function. After collecting an investor's money, effective portfolio management will have to give acceptable returns to the investor in order to keep him satisfied and prevent him from moving to any other competitor fund. So we have ordinary shares, preference shares, equity warrants, convertible debentures. The type of equity instruments what we have: equity portfolio management, ordinary shares, preference shares, convertible debentures, and equity warrants. So let's talk about a few of the things we'll talk about just the basics, and then we'll move on with the next video. If I take, I'll be talking about more about the helping investors with financial planning, and if we have time we'll talk about those things. So let's just talk about the basic thing, which is equity warrants. Ordinary shares constitute ownership of a company, and each share entitles the holder to ownership privileges such as dividend declared by the company and voting rights at meetings. Preference shares do not constitute ownership. However, holders have preference over ordinary shareholders in two instances: in payment of dividend at fixed rate subject to the availability of profits after tax, and in payment of principal in case of winding up of the company. Equity warrants are long-term rights that offer holders the right to purchase equity shares in a company at a fixed price on a future date, akin to a call option. Convertible debentures, a fixed rate debit instrument that are converted into equity shares at the end of a specified period. Equity classes may on the capitalization. M cap is equivalent to the current value of the company, number of shares outstanding into current market price. Every fund manager should recognize M cap differently. So market cap greater than 5,000 crore is large cap. Mid cap is 1,000 to 5,000 crore, and small cap is less than 1,000 crore. So these were the things which we wanted to tell you about investors' perspective and how to calculate the fund performance, and what is a mutual fund, who can invest in a mutual fund. Thank you for watching this video. This is Dr. Rohit signing off from Rohit Productions, and hope you are enjoying my videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. And have a great day. And next time if I upload a video, that will be the last video on mutual funds, where we'll be talking more about the fund settlements and about calculating. If I have some time, I'll tell you about the accounting and calculating. Thank you and